Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at what we've learned about functions to see how it can help us when we do the Canvas graphics and animations and things like that. So we've learned about how to define and invoke functions and also how to pass data into a function, which really allows us to reuse code with different values passed into it. Okay, again, we're thinking about a function as a block of code that can take in values, and later on we're looking at return values as well. So we can see that in this robot face. I've got the code here, and very simple. We set up our canvas width and height, and the rectangle is nice. We set the fill style, and we just go fill rectangle, X, Y, width, and height. But then we get to a triangle. It's like, okay, I'm going to use the same fill style, but then I have to begin a path, move to, line 2, fill, and then fill triangle for the hair again, because what did the hair have? Oh yeah, these different triangles and stuff. Begin path, move to, line 2, fill. Outline triangle, same thing, but we close path and stroke. So I wish I could do something like this fill rectangle, where I could just go fill triangle, and then pass in the 3 points, 180, 80, 140, 100, right? I'm just getting those from here. This is the first point, 180, 80, 140, 100, and 220, 100. And then I wouldn't need to do this. Right, wouldn't that be awesome? Fill triangle, done. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are x and y values. Okay, so we can do that now. We can define those functions ourselves. So I'm going to just go all the way down to the bottom here, and hopefully 135 lines of code. Hopefully you'll see by the end of this video that by using functions, we're going to reduce a lot of duplication of code, and this program will be much shorter. So I'm just going to have a title here, draw functions. So I'm going to define a function called fill triangle, open and close parentheses, open and close braces, right? It's a block of code that starts here and ends here. And this fill triangle needs to take in some information, right? We're going to pass in some arguments, they're called, 6 numbers, okay, representing 3 different points. So I need to store those values somewhere, and when I define my function, I define parameters in here. So x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. Okay, and these parameters are kind of like variables, right? They store the arguments that get passed into this function. And then I'm going to just copy and paste all the way what I had up here. Where was it? All of this stuff. Copy and paste. Shift Alt F to tab. We'll uncomment this. And now if I leave these numbers here, whenever I call this function, it's always going to draw in the same spot. But I'm going to replace these with x1, y1, x2, y2, and last but not least, x3, y3. Okay, we'll save that. We've defined the function. And up here, we are invoking that function. Let's delete this now. And we can just do that fill triangle. Okay, cool. Let's see if that works. I don't see any error messages, and we've still got a triangle. Okay, cool. So now the beauty of this is that we can now reuse, right? Fill triangle for hair. Well, now we're going to do it at a different spot. So I should be able to reuse this function now. Fill triangle at 340, 80 is the first point. 300, 100, 380, 100. And get rid of that, because we're reusing the code. Beautiful. Okay, and then outline triangle, same thing. I wish I could do something like a stroke triangle, just like we can do a stroke rect, fill rect and stroke rect. Stroke triangle at 260, 80, 220, 100, 300, 100. Okay, and we don't have that function yet, so I'm going to cut and paste this. We'll go down to the bottom again. Function stroke triangle. It again will take in 6 arguments. So we need 6 parameters to store those values in. And then we replace these with the variables. So whatever information gets passed in, that's where I'm going to draw it, whatever x1, y1 is. And x2, y2, and x3, y3. And then we do the close path and stroke to do a stroke triangle. Okay, and then it's usually a good idea when we define functions to have a comment to describe the purpose of the function. So draw a filled triangle with vertices x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. Copy this line and put it here as well. But now we're going to draw an outlined or stroke triangle with those vertices. Okay, so now I should be able to go back up to here. And that was the stroke triangle. Let's just see if that works. Looks good, still looks the same. And now I should be able to replace this with stroke triangle 420, 80, 380, 100, 460, 100. And get rid of all that. And now, you know what? These comments are actually less useful. Filled a triangle for hair. Like, filled triangle, the name of the function is already descriptive, right? So I could just call this, you know, hair. Yeah. Actually, no, maybe we'll do this. Filled triangles for hair. And then we can just get rid of that and have the two filled triangles. Outlined triangles for hair. We can cut those and have the stroke triangles. Filled triangle for the neck. Okay, perfect. That is this one right here. It's drawn behind the head, but there's a triangle somewhere like that. So again, instead of having all this code, I can just go fill triangle 300, 200, 220, 600. Again, just getting the points from here. 380, 600. And can delete that. And beautiful, right? And if I wanted to draw a new triangle somewhere, fill triangle 0, 0, 50, 0, 50, 50. This should draw a triangle in the semicolon in the top left corner. Right here. Right? So functions here, this filled triangle, I can reuse the code instead of having to do that begin path, move to here, line to here, line to here, close path, whatever, stroke, fill, all that stuff. We put that code inside of our function, and we can reuse this code whenever we want by invoking the function name and giving it the points that we wanted to draw at, right? Passing that data in. Okay, that is awesome. Let's see if I have any other triangles that I can... so rectangles are good, that's fine. Okay, then we got these circles. Now, I'm not going to do this for you, but this will be your assignment. You should define a function called fill circle and put these 3 lines of code. So not as much code, but still, instead of having to do begin path, arc, fill, it would be nice to just go fill circle. And you can reuse that here and here. Lines, right? Same thing. This code here, write a function called draw line, or whatever we want to call it. I guess we don't do fill line and stroke line. That doesn't make sense. So it could just be line. And you would draw a line from here to here. Okay, and you could reuse that for this and this and this. Again, the fill circle you could reuse. Fill circle and then a stroke circle. Stroke circle here, a line, a line. Oh, another triangle. Okay, let me do that one. This is an outline triangle, so my stroke triangle. 300, 280, 320, 320, and 280, 320. So this is the nose. And delete that. Okay, so already we've saved ourselves some lines of code here. It's shortened. Once you do the lines and the circles, it'll be even shorter yet. Okay, good. Okay, so like I said, hopefully you understand now. Fill triangle, stroke triangle, we define these functions. These are our parameters. So it basically means, hey, this function fill triangle requires 6 values, 6 arguments. And then when we call these functions, the stroke triangle, we pass in those values, and those values get stored in these parameters, and then we use those in the function. Okay, hopefully you can see the advantage of this, and all the best in defining your fill circle, stroke circle, and line functions. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.